Beloved, welcome again to my friend the Holy Spirit. This is Gift Zawadi Love. So we continue with the story that now David is in the battlefield and he just heard what Goliath is taunting and threatening the Israelites. As soon as the Israelite army saw him, as soon as they saw Goliath, this is 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 24 now. As soon as the Israelite army saw him, they began to run away in fright. Have you seen the giant? The men asked. He comes out each day to defy Israel. The king has offered a huge reward to anyone who kills him. He will give that man one of his daughters for a wife, and the man's entire family will be exempted from paying taxes. Hey, from paying taxes. Can you imagine? How much taxes do you pay? Not only that this man is going to have the daughter of a king. This is great reward. David asked the soldiers standing nearby, what will a man get for killing this Philistine and ending his defiance of Israel? Who is this pagan Philistine anyway, that he is allowed to defy the armies of the living God? Now, see, David is bringing in, saying that Israel is the army of the living God. He is a very spiritual boy. He thinks things through God's eyes. He feels and thinks through God's eyes. The Holy Spirit, remember, when he was anointed, the Holy Spirit came strongly in him and stayed in him. And so the Holy Spirit is actually showing him and helping him to see things through God's eyes. That is what my friend the Holy Spirit does. He shows you things through the eyes of God. So you're not just barely living like a mere human being, but you're actually living as God on earth. Why? Because you have the power in the spiritual realm to bring it to manifestation in the physical realm. Listen to this. And these men gave David the same reply. They said, yes, that is a reward for killing him. But when David's oldest brother Eliab heard David talking to the men, he was angry. What are you doing around here anyway? He demanded. What about those few sheep you're supposed to be taking care of? And he's just saying few sheep, basically degrading him. I know about your pride and deceit. You just want to see the battle. See, he knows about David's pride and deceit because David is looking at things through God's eyes. People think he's proud. Just because I see things through the eyes of God, that doesn't make me proud. Humility, people think humility is just saying yes. No. Humility is actually obeying God, listening to God, and it is actually declaring victory when there is defeat. That is humility according to God's purpose. According to God's vocabulary of humility, it is agreeing with him when the whole world says no. But to the world, that is pride. Why are you being so prideful when you know very well this is the case? Humility defies earthly laws. So, in the eyes of his brothers, he was very proud, saying that, who is this man defying God's army? To them, it was pride. To God, it was humility, that he sees God bigger than this Philistine. What have I done now? David replied. I was only asking a question. That sounds like your little brother, huh? He was walking over to some others and asked them the same thing and received the same answer. See, David is a very smart boy. So he knew, my brothers are not going to answer me. Let me go and make sure this is what will be done. He not only understands that this man is defying the armies of the living God, but still he wants to know what is in for me. He's a businessman. Let me tell you, he's a smart boy. He's like, there must be a reward. And I want to know, is there a reward? What do we get here? What is the incentive of killing this man? I just like this boy. I like his intellect. He walks and he hears the same thing. Then David's question was reported to King Saul, and the king sent for him. See, this boy, he caused so much, commotion in the camp that people are wondering, who is this little boy asking for which reward? Unless you're ready to fight this giant, what is the reward to you? What do you care? These people were so intrigued by this boy's courage, by this boy's questions, by this boy's inquiry, that it actually got to the king. Remember, before something gets to the highest authority, it has to be filtered through the advisors. This question was so unique. His attitude was so unique that it got to the king's ears. There is a boy here who has so much courage, who's talking about this living God, and is even asking for a reward, that even king himself did not despise it. He says, bring him here. Let me see him. Who will stop this nonsense from going on? Let us see who is this who is asking these questions. I want to see this one. Hey, can you cause that much attention? That even the leader, the head, will call up for you to wonder who is this who is so courageous that they think that God is this big. I want to see this person who has gone beyond even the armies. The commanders of the armies are not even asking that question anymore. But somebody who is a shepherd, a little boy who believes in his God, that his God is greater than his problem. What do you believe? Join me as we continue with this story of David. Thanks.